Welcome back to another episode of the ACC's Benchwarmers Podcast, coming to you live from the Export Beer Garden studio. No Ben Boyce today. He's been stuck in transit due to the floods. He is currently at the Auckland airport, I believe. He's been stuck there for a while, but he's coming back. Next week he'll be back, but today we've got Keyzie in here. Welcome back to the podcast.
Yep, thanks very much, Joel Harrison. Can I just confirm, is he at the Auckland airport?
He is at the Auckland airport at
now.
The current time, yes.
Right,
but,
and he was stuck in Hawke's Bay, was it?
He was stuck in Wellington, Palmerston North for 3 days. He sold his soul on Instagram to Palmerston North. He got stuck down there for a couple more days, and I drove to Wellington. Was in Wellington this morning. Now he's at Auckland Airport currently.
Right, okay.
But, in his place, we also have Chris Reive, the NZ Herald journalist. Thank you for coming back.
Anytime, mate. Anytime.
And it's probably been one of the biggest, if not the biggest week of NBA for the whole year since we started doing this podcast. It's of the whole last 16, 17 weeks. In fact, so much happened with all of the trade deadlines, all of LeBron's heroic, the legendary performance. Well, you could say it's legendary performance. We'll talk about that later.
His career is legendary. I know what you mean.
100%, yeah. And today for the starting five, we're going to be talking about LeBron, and we're going to be talking about the trades, KD going to Phoenix, all the Breakers stuff, All-Star updates. But before we get there, Ben Boyce, he wanted to be here today. He couldn't though, so he sent a little bit of audio to just to let us know his thoughts on the whole LeBron saga.
I'm gutted I can't be there today to talk about my favourite person in the whole world, LeBron James.
Hey.
Oh, sorry.
No, your favourite person should at least be one of your family members.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't be recording this next to my family. But as you guys know, I was a bucket list to see LeBron play in person. I got to see him there. I got to see him play earlier this year, and it was the greatest day of my entire life.
The greatest day, not even your children being born.
Okay, again, I shouldn't be recording this next text to my family, but we've never seen anything like it. I mean, 20 years in the NBA is an incredible achievement. The most amount of points, and I know Joel, he's going to be a hater. He's going to say, oh, he had the most amount of turnovers. Well, yeah, probably, because he's been playing for 20 years. And Keyzie will be like, oh, he doesn't play for the Clippers. Well, yeah, of course he doesn't, because he wants to play for a good team in LA. So I'm gutted I'm not there to talk about LeBron James. For the past 20 years, he's been the one constant in my life, in everyone's lives. And my parents broke up. They're not together. You know, that fell apart. But LeBron James has been there. Now I'm getting into some issues, some deep-seated issues. This isn't therapy. Anyway, I'm sorry I can't be there to talk about LeBron. Talk him up. He's the greatest, the best person in the world, better than anyone in my family. Oh, my family have gone. Okay.
Nice.
Oh, no, they're back. Okay, they're back. Okay.
Wow, really airing some dirty laundry there, Ben Boyce, and his whānau as well, who made a great appearance there.
Yeah, that was Ben Boyce's thoughts. But before that, we should get into the starting five.
This is the starting five for the Benchwarmers.
Y'all ready for this?
So yeah, this time LeBron James, LeBron James, he wasn't the highest scorer in the world, but he had an awesome game last week. Scored 38 points to get 2 points above Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's record. Did you guys watch it?
I watched the end of it. I was on air doing a radio show while it was happening, which makes it hard. And they've also got a rule that we can't have basketball on the tally because it's right behind Mike Minogue's head. And as I'm looking at him, my eyes will just drift up to the TV, and I'll just start watching LeBron hit fadeaways while injured instead of concentrating on my job. But I got to say, I mean, even though it was on mute and I couldn't really pay attention, I did want to shed a tear because LeBron, although he's not my favorite player of all time, I am very pro LeBron. I love following him and watching him play wherever he goes. And so to see him break that record, I think it's just another thing that's happened to make him potentially surpass MJ in the GOAT conversation. That is one thing that he now has over MJ. Chris, what do you reckon about that?
That's always going to be a conversation.
That is, isn't
right?
it?
It's always going to be a conversation. And now the LeBron side can say, who scored the most points of all time? LeBron. But yeah, that game, it was like watching Kobe's last game. Every time LeBron got the ball, you know he was going to shoot. So it wasn't much of a game. They got beaten by OKC.
Who are the worst team in the comp?
Well, it was entertaining.
It was extremely entertaining. But the thing I love about LeBron is he's one of a few players that he can walk out there. He knows he has to score exactly 38 points in order to get past the record, right? And there's no doubt at all. People bought tickets for thousands of dollars because they knew this man has enough talent, even at age 38, to actually just do that. You know, who else could walk out and go, yeah, I'll get that?
What did you guys make of the fact that there was 10 seconds left in the third quarter and they stopped the game? I was like, okay, they're going to stop the game for maybe a photo, maybe to hug his family. But they stopped the game for like a whole presentation. They were Kareem was on the court. They shook hands. Like, what do you reckon? Was it the most American thing you've ever seen?
It was like you won a championship. Just everyone swarmed out for photos. It's like,
I mean,
just let them play out 10 seconds.
So you'd rather them? Oh, was it? Sorry, there was 10 seconds left in the third quarter.
Yes.
So do it through. Oh, okay, I see what you mean.
Well, even do it at the end of the game.
No. He just made history. People win championships every year. People don't break the scoring record every year. It's a massive achievement. But 10 seconds left in the third. Throw the ball to, I don't know, one of the OKC guys, Kendrick Williams, or whoever. Let him just play out the 10, get the turnover, and then maybe do it then is what I would have done.
Yeah, it was a massive momentum killer because after then LeBron, he went off for the majority of the game. I think he scored 2 points after that, and now it looks like he's got quite a bad injury.
He had an ankle injury. He was playing through it, so yeah.
He just played on. But I reckon you saying OKC's worst team in the league, some of the young guys, they have two guys. It's a fun fact. They actually have two guys called Jalen Williams as well, both rookies. And they both played probably the best games of their career, and they were really trying to like ruin LeBron's night, which was
how'd that go? Well, they won.
They won.
Yeah, they did win. But also the other thing, spare a thought, or is it a cool thing? Like if it was me, I'd be stoked. What about I think it is Kendrick Williams who was trying to stop that fadeaway, which became probably it's going to be one of the most famous shots of all time. LeBron hitting that scoring record.
Yeah.
And now Kendrick, like sort of half-assed putting his hand up in the air is going to be immortalized, you know? Would you be excited if that was you, or would you be gutted?
Absolutely.
You'd be
like, look, I'm best seat in the house.
Yeah, I helped LeBron.
Record-breaking shot.
That's right.
There was so much happening in that photo as well, because you had the iconic photo of LeBron fading away, and you had every single person in the crowd on their phone except for Phil Knight. You were saying he's the Nike founder, is he?
Yeah. So he's behind Nike, and just some old dude in the crowd, no phone,
just
enjoying the moment. And like Keyzie said before the show, nothing on the socials now.
Yeah,
no,
he's missed out.
That's the thing. And to be fair, I mean, like genuinely, Chris, if you were there, would you have had your phone out?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. Joel?
You bag it, but like you wouldn't want to miss. If you pay that much money, you wouldn't want to not get a social media video or photo for it, you know?
I think the way to do it, though, is, and you're looking at that photo, and I've studied it closely, a lot of people are looking up at their phones to make sure the footage is really good. Like, put your phone in the air and then look at the moment and just, the phone comes second. You know what I mean? Whereas a lot of people are like, got to nail this shot, even though the person next to me and the person next to them are all filming at the same time. But hey, fair enough. They paid thousands of dollars to be there, so do what you want. And
in the same time, you had Thomas Bryant, who is actually not related anyway to the late Kobe Bryant as well, but he was calling for the ball.
Oh,
it was like, and then the next day, bang, traded to Denver.
That's what you get.
That is what you get. They may as well have traded him before that game. Like, I know he was wide open under the rim, but LeBron's out here trying to make history on a team that's coming like 25th or some shit.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So sorry, Thomas Bryant. Yeah. Where did he get traded to? He's gone...
Denver.
Yeah. So, I mean, he won't get as much time in Denver, but I don't... Because I have seen people say, oh, Thomas Bryant was wide open. It's like, I don't care if that was me. If I was LeBron, which I've pictured many times, I would be taking that shot 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, and there was a very iconic moment in that presentation that they did with LeBron as well. He dropped an F-bomb live on ESPN. Here's the audio.
Man, everybody that's ever been a part of this run with me the last 20-plus years, I just want to say I thank you so much, because I wouldn't be me without y'all. All y'all help, all y'all passion, all y'all sacrifices helped me get to this point. And to the NBA, to Adam Silver, to the late, great David Stern, I thank you guys so much for allowing me to be a part of something I've always dreamed about. And I would never, ever in a million years dreamt this even better than what it is tonight. So, fuck, man. Thank you, guys.
Apparently, it's a $25,000 fine just for saying that.
Oh,
really?
no.
Well,
That's
obviously,
like
that means
pocket money for him, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's like you've seen that famous clip of when Shaq got fined like 10 grand or something, and he's in the change room. He's like, $10,000. Oh no! And he's like pretending like it's really upsetting. He doesn't give a shit.
Yeah.
I mean, if I was him, I'd swear as well, because it's just going to get shared around even more. Smart, really.
Exactly. It's worth it.
Maybe we should start swearing on this podcast.
Yeah, maybe.
You go first, Chris.
Shit.
Yeah,
fuck yeah. But I reckon, LeBron James, what do you guys reckon? Where's he going to go now? Is anyone ever going to beat this record? Is he going to have it for the rest of his lifetime?
I think people will beat the record as the game goes on. More and more people are shooting threes. I mean, he had to muscle his way in for a lot of twos, especially for the early part of his career. He did it the hard way. He did it by bricking a lot of free throws as well. So he did do it the hard way, So I think the high pace of today's game and the ridiculous shooting that's come in, I think that record will be broken, but I don't think it'll be for quite a while.
Yeah, see, I disagree just because of the longevity of LeBron's career. Like, are we ever going to see someone have as big an effect for as long?
Actually,
as
in all the
LeBron
postseasons as well that he's
Yeah.
played. Yeah, true. It's a good point, Chris. Actual journalist, see?
It's actually a good point to note as well that this is just regular season points.
Oh, is
not
it?
playoff
Yep,
points.
just regular season.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I think a lot of people didn't know that as well, but at the time I didn't even know it as well.
Far out, man.
And we're in a basketball podcast, so
Yeah,
that's
it's embarrassing, isn't it?
it's embarrassing.
Definitely don't cut that bit out. Leave that bit in. I want people to know that I didn't know that.
KD, he went to the Suns. It was probably the biggest trade of the trade deadline. People are calling it the biggest trade in NBA history. What do you guys make of this one?
I thought it was good business by the Nets, but I seem to be like in the minority there. I had a lot of people online like call out Sean Marks for not getting enough for KD. Like
Right.
they got 2 good players, 4 first-round picks, and a pick swap. Like I thought they did real well for him for a guy who was on so much money and didn't want to be there.
And was injured as well. Like we can't forget he has been on the court for a while. He's out over the All-Star game. But I also, if you look at the big picture of what Sean Marks has done, he went from having Spencer Dinwiddie and Jared Allen and a few little role players to 3 of the biggest talents in the NBA, then swapping them out for 2 really good players. As you say, I love McCall Bridges. I absolutely love his game. He got Dinwiddie back, who's been playing awesome as well, and then all these picks. If you look at the grand scheme of things, I think he did bloody well in 2 years there. Bringing in big talent, shipping it off, and then setting himself up better than he was originally.
Yeah, and last week on the podcast, I was like, I reckon the Mavericks, they're the team to beat in the West. That's already proven a little bit wrong. But
what a surprise.
That's massively proven wrong now. But would you say that the Suns are now the team to beat in the West, team to beat in the whole NBA?
Oh, absolutely. You just look at their lineup: KD, Devin Booker, Chris
CP.
Paul, and they managed to keep DeAndre Ayton somehow as well. Like that's a pretty formidable squad.
It is a formidable squad. I'd say the biggest weakness there is age, first of all. But because actually all those players, KD, Booker as well, and CP, of course, they've had injury issues. If they can keep it all together, healthy for the postseason, absolutely. Their weakness, I think, is Ayton. I don't rate Ayton. I reckon he's useless. Like he can get you 15 and 10 or something. He's not going to block any shots. He's not going to protect the paint. He's not going to muscle up. I don't know what that dude's problem is. I've got beef with Ayton, to be honest.
What do you reckon, Chris, about Ayton?
I kind of agree with you there.
Yeah.
Like he's going to get some points, but I don't think he's like physical enough for a center.
No.
And in the playoffs, you kind of want that.
Yeah. You want
need,
someone...
need that dog in there.
Yeah, exactly. That dog. That junkyard dog.
Yeah,
Joel.
it's going to be interesting to see how. I'm excited. I like the Suns. I got a Suns jersey myself over summer, so I reckon. Look, if they win, I'd be happy.
Here's a controversial opinion. I hate Devin Booker. Is that
A
controversial?
lot of people agree. A lot of people say his 70-point game was the jammiest, most 10-hour 70-point game in history as well.
Yeah, well,
That's probably true.
I mean, sure, but I mean, full credit, scoring 70 points in the NBA, that's amazing.
He was only 20 as well at the time.
He was 20, so that's fine. I don't hate him for that. I hate him because, I don't know, he's just a classic modern chucker. Remember when he whinged about getting doubled up in practice and all that stuff? You know what I mean? Like, all that sort of stuff. I don't know what it is about him. For some reason, he just grinds my gears.
What do you think of Ja Morant?
Love him.
Okay, interesting. A lot of people that I know that dislike Devin Booker also dislike
No,
Ja.
he's different because he's an underdog. He came up, he wasn't even highly touted out of high school or anything, and his athleticism and stuff. I love him. I absolutely love him.
Yeah, the Lakers, they haven't been winning much this year, but it looks like they might have won. They might have won in the trade deadlines. They got D'Angelo Russell, who's going back there. Then I think they also gained a couple other role players in Malik Beasley and
Malik Beasley, he's the man. He's a good shooter.
Vanderbilt as well. What did you guys make of the Lakers during this period?
I think Jared Vanderbilt's probably the best pickup outside of those major names. He's such a good player and does everything that you want in a role player. He's not going to go out and try and put 20 up in a game. He's just going to go and try and hit the offensive boards. He's going to steal a few, get a few possessions and just help the team. And I guess that's what the Lakers need, right?
He's also a guy that you can put on someone who's really good. Just go, Jared, your job today is just to lock that dude up, and he's the kind of dude that'll just do a great job of that. D'Angelo Russell, I can't stand either. Don't know why. He's a chucker. I don't know why.
You just don't like shooting guards.
Yeah,
right?
apparently.
How do you feel about Steph Curry?
No, I like Steph Curry. He's the man. He revolutionized shooting.
How about Pat Bev? What do you think of him?
Oh, yeah, love Pat Beverly because he makes so much noise and he comes away with 2 points on 5 shot attempts and a steal.
He was like a fun part to watch this year at the Lakers as well. He was doing all right. We're not really good in the stats department and stuff, but he looked like he was He's having a fun time.
He is, and he can shut someone down. He can get in your head. He can ruffle a few feathers, and then your team will lose. Unfortunately, like that seems to be the later part of his career. Earlier on, very effective defender, but yeah, that's what I think.
And then he put up a tweet the other day saying, "Congratulations, like welcome home, D-Lo. It's going to be epic playing together." And the next morning, he was traded to your Magic, Chris. Is this a good pickup for you?
Wait,
we've waived him already.
Oh,
Can you imagine Pat Bev playing on a team where everyone else in the team is like 24 or younger? Like,
I love the Magic.
He would have hated it there.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that, like, because the Magic are another team that's in that mold, unfortunately for you, Chris. Penny and Shaq aren't there anymore. It's literally just these young guys who just seem to be traded away and then become awesome. So if you're getting waived by a team like that as well, it's kind of like, is there a market for Pat Bev? If the Lakers don't want him, where else can he go?
So where's he going to go? Is he just
Breakers?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, he would be great value.
Oh, he'd average a quadruple double for the Breakers, I'm sure.
John Wall, another guy that's been traded back to he got traded back to the Rockets, and there's like footage of saying how shit the Rockets are, of how much he hated the Rockets, how bad the team was, and they're not really anything better at the moment. So you feel for John Wall, but also has he really done anything?
I think he either got bought out or waived as well.
Yeah.
So,
by the Rockets?
Yeah.
So, I mean, John Wall, as much as you're going to feel sorry for the guy was on like $100-something million, and all he did was slip over in the shower. You know what I mean? For 3 years, didn't play any basketball. And to be honest, I was heartbroken. He was I picked him up for $1 in my NBA fantasy draft because I'm a Clippers fan. I also had PG and Kawhi. And he just didn't pan out. He showed signs, and he just doesn't have it anymore. He turns the ball over a lot. He's a bit of a liability, unfortunately.
Were you happy with the Clippers' moves in the deadline?
Bringing in Mason Plumlee. I thought it was interesting because Mason's a really good, solid, sort of in-the-middle guy. He can pass well, and he'll get you 8 points or something. However, he's got massive beef with the Clippers. They used to win. The Clippers played Portland back in the day, and he was playing center. Like him and DeAndre Jordan and Blake Griffin would always be swearing at one another, and I'd be watching it in my CP3 jersey being like, yeah, F off Mason Plumlee. And now he's come to our team. I do think he's a good acquisition, actually.
Yeah, and Chris, any other trades that stood out for you? Were you sad you lost Mo Bamba?
I was a little bit, but I saw that one coming.
We're going to get you really tall dudes from now.
I know.
You've got about 7 more of them.
Yeah, and we'll probably pick up another couple in the draft next year because that's what we do. It's just always length.
Yeah.
So.
Well, to be fair, actually, one thing that's been I've quite enjoyed watching is the return of Markelle Fultz for the Magic. I've enjoyed watching him play.
Oh yeah, he's a great player. Great player. Deserved number 1 pick.
He's awesome on defense. He doesn't really have a jump shot, but that's fine because he's just involved everywhere. I really like it. He's explosive as well.
Yeah, first point guards are the way to go.
Exactly.
It was I was actually just watching on TV, like the ESPN, all these trades unfold. It was crazy seeing them pop up out of nowhere. It's like, holy shit, it's a great day.
I love it.
I got no idea why they leave it to the very last minute, but hey, is there any reason, Chris, that they leave it to the last minute?
I'd say they're just trying to make sure they get the most out of every player, right? Like if you've got a certain deadline to go to, you might as well just push it right up to there.
Yeah, that's what I used to do with homework, and that panned out
magnificently.
magnificently.
Yeah, same here. Got me through uni. We're fine.
Exactly.
Apparently, the GM for the Clippers, they wanted to make a trade, and he was asleep at the time. Did you see this one, Adam?
That's Pat Riley.
That's Pat Riley. Yeah.
Joe Riley, Pat Riley, same thing.
One of the biggest
Miami.
names in basketball.
Miami.
Yeah, because the Clippers are owned by Steve Ballmer.
Okay, fuck. Well, that was a big. Did you see Adam? Anything to add on this one?
Oh no, just that it was Pat Riley, and to be honest,
Pat Riley, Joe Riley, Clippers, Heat, same thing, right, guys?
He must be like mid-70s right now, Because he's been around for an extremely long time, and if that man needed a nap, it's probably been a big day.
He was in
for
a
him.
coma, and then someone woke him up because a trade was going through. Yeah, exactly.
There is one that I think you guys have gone over as well, is the problems with Portland and Gary Payton III, and how allegedly they didn't talk about how he has an abdominal injury. And apparently he was playing with injections or something like that.
Cortisone shots or whatever, yeah.
Yeah. And Portland never disclosed it in the deal. And that was a deal that could fall over, which Wiseman went the other way as well in that 3-man deal. So that's a bit of a drama. And there's a complaint about it at the moment. And that might even... it looks like the Warriors will still take it because they like the man because he kind of got them through a championship run as well. But there could be some pretty bad business for a team, doing something like that.
I love it. That reminds me of when my girlfriend at the time... who's now my wife, her car was overheating really badly and we managed to just fix it enough so that we could sell it. That's literally what the Portland people did there, is they did a quick, duct tape up the issues and quickly flick it on so it's someone else's issue. James Wiseman, though, he was a bit of a bust, don't you think? Because he's Detroit now, isn't he?
Yeah, so he ends up in Detroit in that trade. I think Sadiq Bey goes to the Warriors.
He went to the Hawks.
Well. Oh, to the Hawks?
Yeah, so he went to the Warriors.
No, he went somewhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, James Wiseman hasn't really panned out, right? For a number 2 pick, I think he was.
Yeah, and the Warriors usually so good.
Hit a LaMelo as well.
Yeah, they chose him over LaMelo.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
So, I'll be interesting to see what happens. He joins a array of not very talented people in Detroit.
Yeah.
RIP people in Detroit, man. It sucks.
Let's head down under to the NBL, and the Breakers had an 88-68 point win over the Tasmania Jack Jumpers. One of the weirder names I've ever heard from a basketball team. You watched the game, Chris. Talk us through it. What happened?
Oh, just on the Jack Jumpers, I believe that's a type of ant that you get in Australia. So
Okay,
there you
yeah.
go. The more you know. The Breakers did what they generally do. They stopped the other team scoring at a high clip. Like, I think the Jack Jumpers only scored at about 33%, and the Breakers were putting the ball in at the other end. It was relatively close at halftime, and then, Breakers just ran away with it at the second half.
The Auckland Mayor, Wayne Brown, he came out and said you'd have to be a massive fan of the Breakers. Also, he seems like he's doing a great job so far in his job. But he's like, you'd have to be a massive fan of the Breakers to get out there and watch them in a cyclone. And it was a sold-out Spark Arena. I think 12,000 people, something like that.
Out.
So, so are they playing? They're playing Tasmania again in Game 2.
Yeah, on Thursday night, so tomorrow.
And then if they win that game, are they through to the final?
Yep.
And they'll be against either the Kings or the Taipans.
And that's a 3-game series, right?
The final's 5.
5-game series.
5-game
that's right.
series.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've been in.
How do you rate the Breakers' chances? What do you reckon? Are they going to take it home?
My issue with the Breakers is their scoring. If they come up against Sydney in the final, I don't think they can go with Sydney. They're just too inconsistent in that area. They can defend, but they're still going to need to score more points than Sydney, and Sydney have a lot more weapons.
Hopefully the Breakers can get up. They'll be good to see the Kiwi team doing well. Keyzie, your thoughts?
My thoughts are that I haven't been watching a lot of NBL lately, unfortunately. However, I do have thoughts around the name Jack Jumpers because they're jacking a lot of jumpers. You know what I mean? If your team's hitting lots of jump shots, I think it's a clever name.
Yeah.
Well, they weren't hitting many jump shots. They have scored 68 points
Oh, really?
the other day in 4 quarters.
So they were still jacking them, but they just weren't hitting
Yeah,
them.
they were definitely jacking them.
Yeah, sweet.
I'll tell you who'll be jacking jumpers, though. The NBA three-point contest in the All-Star. And they are the contestants, sorry. They named the participants for the All-Star weekend, and it's stacked.
Who we got?
Yeah.
Jason Tatum's in there, Kevin Herter, Tyler Hero, my favorite player, Tyrese Halliburton, Buddy Hield, Damon Lillard, Anthony Simons, and Laurie Markkinen.
Wow.
That's stacked.
I love seeing a big man like Laurie in there giving it a crack. That makes me happy. If I had to pick someone to go with on that, surely Lillard, right? I mean, he's so experienced. But the three-point contest, it's anyone's game on the day, to be honest, you know?
Yeah, I agree. Like, I'd lean towards Lillard, but I want to see Laurie Markkinen take it out. Just the big white guy.
Yeah.
He's probably going to be slow between all the different spots, but it's going to be fun to watch him.
I hope Tyler Hero wins, if anyone cares. Tyler Hero.
really?
I
By
reckon-
the way, I hate Tyler Hero
I'm
as
a
well.
huge Tyler
He
Hero
fits
fan.
that Devin Booker mold for me.
I reckon he's the man, and he knows how to turn it on as well. I reckon he is the
Knows
man.
how to turn you on, by the way.
He does. He knows how to turn his baby mama on. He's got 2 kids. I think he's 23, 22 as well. So
Well, I'm sure you could pull that off too if you wanted to.
yeah,
You're getting
probably
stuck
not.
in now, though.
And yeah, there's been a few other changes as well because of all the injuries. So Embiid, Markkinen, and Ja Morant all starters now. And Anthony Edwards, who we were talking about a few weeks ago, who we wanted to play in there.
Anthony Edwards, who is one of my favourite players, literally has scored the 4th most amount of points in the NBA this season, and
Yeah.
he's only just been called in. Like, what the hell's that about?
I know.
I know the T-Wolves aren't that great, but, you know, I think it's about damn time. He's amazing.
Philly fans and James Harden himself are just like, what the fuck? Why is
Oh,
James
piss off,
Harden not
Harden.
in there?
God.
Should he be in there?
I mean, I'd pick Jalen Brunson ahead of James
Yeah.
Harden.
Yeah, same.
Well, because now Jaylen Brown might be missing. People are saying that he might be out as well. So Brunson could be in there. But I don't know, Harden, Brunson. But like, is the All-Star weekend and the All-Star match in particular, is that an interest to you guys? Like, is that something you will be watching?
I enjoy the competitions. I don't really ever watch the game.
Nah, it's
I
a
don't
joke,
really
isn't
care about the game. It's like the Pro Bowl in the NFL. I don't care about it. I just take the day off.
You know what my favourite part is actually the skills challenge, where you've got Jokic running down the court, dribbling it behind his back, throwing a pass, and then, you know, trying to hit a layup and shit. That's my favourite part of the All-Star weekend. I think the dunk contest for me has lost a bit of fizz too. And, yeah, actually the three-point contest as well, B. It's because that's just a pure display of, you know, who can hit the most threes under pressure, whereas the dunk contest is all sorts of shenanigans going on, you know, and the All-Star game as well, so...
Yeah, I saw Mac McClung. Yeah, producer Adam was actually saying this before, but Mac McClung, who is the G League guy,
He's
who's
just
in the
been
dunk contest.
signed by someone, isn't he?
76ers.
The Sixers, right. Because I think he was on a 10-day with them earlier this season or something, Mac McClung. And correct me if I'm wrong, Chris, I'm assuming you have every single piece of knowledge about the NBA and history. Wasn't he like a real high school sensation that could just pile on
I got
points?
no idea.
Okay.
I just know a lot of people knew his name coming into the NBA.
Yeah, I think he was like one of those early dudes in Sosh Med where there'd be highlights of him putting up 50 in a high school game. I think he was that kind of guy that just didn't pan out into an NBA prospect.
Yeah, and for the final part of the starting five today, Giannis, one of the best players in the league, two-time MVP, I believe. He's been claiming a few trademarks. And producer Adam, do you want to talk through some of this?
Yeah, well, I was quite surprised when I saw them this morning on the way in. So he has 3 new trademarks that he has now. It's called Stay Freaky, Freak Show, and Unseen Freaky Hours. So I posed the question...
Unseen Freaky Hour?
Is thoughts on, do you think this is more towards a basketball career or a career after basketball? Because it's quite hard to link the two. And the best part about all these names is that the E in all of them is a 3 and the A is a 4. So there's a lot going on even with the 3 names. Any ideas, Keyzie, what these names could be used for? Unbasketball related?
Oh, no, I've got no ideas whatsoever. Definitely not like strip clubs or anything. Damn it, Giannis, you don't have to claim a trademark if it's got a number in it. Like, you know what I mean? No one's picking up, what is it, Unseen Freak Hours with a 3 and a 4 in it. Are you serious?
They have T-shirts. I see Nike has a T-shirt already. It just says a tick and it just says a freak on it. Not sure who'd be buying that. You look like a bit of a freak wearing them, but would you wear a shirt that says Unseen Freaky Hours or Freak Show? Stay freaky?
Absolutely not.
I think you say absolutely. I was about to go, yeah, fuck it.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. If they send us one, I'll chuck it on.
Yeah, if I got one for free, why not?
Bring it. With the 3 and the 4, so cool.
Yeah.
Sweet as. We'll take...
Oh, sorry. It says number 34.
Yes.
Oh.
Hey, that is genius. Giannis, well done, fella.
Yeah, there goes a bit of credibility back on the podcast. Well done, boys. Well done.
I'm just reading it now. Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Hey, you didn't even get it, and you're running the show, man.
Yeah, wow, really lacking the credibility. Hey, let's take a break, and we'll come back, and we'll talk about fantasy and alley-oops.
Sounds good, mate.
Welcome back to the ACC's Unseen Freaky Hours right here on tying in. Get it, guys.
We're not going to have to pay Giannis for that, are we?
Hopefully not. We
Well,
probably
we're
can afford
not.
that.
Joel has a history of accidentally costing this company money in podcasts, so he'll be able to take care of that.
Yeah. Send that one to the legal team. But hey, let's get into fantasy.
Hey there. What's your fantasy?
Sorry, fantasy basketball? Yeah, basketball. It's been a huge week in my fantasy and my life with fantasy at the moment because it was quarterfinals week in my high octane, high energy points league. And
Running a points league, Chris.
I love a points league.
Chris, yes.
Good
You
to
guys
hear.
are gross.
No, well, the great thing about points leagues, I pretty much lost the first 6 days and then I had an awesome last day. The other guy had a couple injuries and I ended up winning against my flatmate as well, which is just, it's huge in fantasy. I won by about 5 points, which is like 1 steal pretty much.
Right.
So it was a great win and I moved through to the semi-finals. There's so many weird people that did well this week. Cam Thomas, the guy who's essentially filled in for Kyrie, filled his shoes. He hit 3 40-point games in a row, and it was unheard of. He's a 21-year-old playing for Brooklyn at the moment. Sort of dropped off in the last few games as well, but it's expected. Did you have fantasy this week? How did it go for you?
I'm going well at the moment. All my boys are back and healthy. My squad that would have been good 5 years ago, Paul George, Kawhi, AD, they're all finally hitting their straps, which is good. But just on Cam Thomas, earlier this season when Kyrie went down and I think KD was out for a while, he was averaging like 18 points a game for a while there.
Yeah.
And he showed he's got that attitude and that willingness to score as well. So if he ever gets traded to a terrible team, and I mean maybe it'll happen next year on the Nets, maybe they'll like give him a bit more of a high usage role. He's going to be one of those guys that puts up big numbers if he was playing for Detroit or something like that. But in fantasy, the only advice that I can give you this week is if you haven't already, go and pick up Zach Collins, starting centre for the Spurs. Love his game. I was a big fan of his at Portland, but he kept getting injured, which was a bit of a bummer. If anyone's dropped Kelly Olynyk, go pick him up now that Chris's mate Jared Vanderbilt's not there. He's getting big minutes, which is awesome. And Kenyon Martin Jr., who's been filling in for who's injured, Kevin Porter Jr. in the Rockets. This dude is like a forward who has not scored less than 50% shooting field goal wise for the entire 3 weeks that I've had him. He's been filling it. He hits threes, he gets blocks and steals. Really rate his game.
Yeah, I've picked him up as well. He's fun to watch as well. He's super bouncy.
Yeah. So hopefully if they can find a way to keep him involved heavily, even when Kevin Porter comes back. I mean, it seems like a smart idea for the future of the Rockets there.
Yeah, last time we talked to you, Chris, you told us you're building your team around Cade Cunningham fantasy. How's it going so far? What's happening with your fantasy?
Oh, it's all going terribly as per usual. Just too many injuries now.
Who you got?
And
Who's
full
injured?
rebuild route. At the moment, I don't actually think any major players are injured.
Oh, that's nice.
Which is good. But given that pretty much all my major players have been injured throughout the year and have subsequently been either dropped or traded and have now come good.
Yeah,
it's just not been good.
And
it's
you get
just
to
not been good.
this point in the season too, it's almost too late. Like, if you've had injuries and you're sitting through them because you know you'll be good in the future, this is the point in the season where if you haven't come right yet and you aren't walloping other teams, you're probably not going to get inside the sort of top 6 or top 8, whatever you're running for the playoffs. I've found that. It actually takes like 6 weeks of dominating to even move up a few spots in my league. So if you guys are injured and you think they'll come right and you'll be able to win, you're probably better off just either dropping them or trading them, as you said.
Yeah, so this is generally about the time of year in my main keeper league where whoever's coming bottom just trades all their big players for like Luka or Jokic or
To keep
Giannis
for next year.
To keep for next year, and then you have them next year, and then you'll trade them to try and win it.
Yeah,
It's just the yearly cycle.
And do you have massive shit fights in that league? Because I had a league
Surprisingly
similar.
not.
Right, I had a league similar, and it makes sense because this is what teams in the NBA do. They trade away, future stars to get guys for next year, whatever. And it just caused a massive fracas in my old NBA league, and we had to blow it up, the whole league.
Yeah, in another league I'm in, we've had something similar like that, and the guy who was getting benefits just had a big cry about it. He's changed his team name to the Crybabies.
That's funny.
Yeah, he got real salty.
Yeah, nice.
I sort of threw my whole kitchen sink at like all these trades and acquisitions last week just so I could get that win. It was a big week of chopping and changing, and now I've kind of got like sort of a shit team. So I picked up Matisse Thybulle. Is it Matisse Thybulle? Sorry, and the Australian.
Portland.
Yeah, just moved to Portland. He had an awesome game the other day. I think
Yesterday.
He got, 14
points. But he got like
6
3 blocks and 1 steal. So he, like, the thing with him is he is a defensive genius, but he hasn't scored 14 points like ever in his career. You know what I mean? So that's the only issue there.
And I think 4 of them were 3-pointers as well.
They
so
were,
I wouldn't have picked him up. Hopefully it's a good pickup.
Are defensive numbers worth a lot in your points league?
Blocks and steals are pretty crucial.
Yeah.
They're worth, they're really good at South. But like he's only averaging 9 points, and then he in his last game hit 45, I think, as well.
Yeah.
So
I feel like he might, because I always liked Thybulle just because he's like such a defensive anomaly. Now that he's in Portland, they need a crap load of help, so they might be chucking it to him in the corner to hit more threes. So it could actually be a really good pickup.
You should get into a points league next year.
He didn't sound that thrilled about points leagues earlier, so I don't think we can sway him.
I've made too much fun of Joel for being in a points league. Now I can't go back on it. Sorry, mate.
And
although it does sound fun.
Also, it is very fun. It's quite easy as well. But the highly anticipated Benchwarmers Podcast fantasy team, Adam, how's it going? Are we still carving up? When's playoffs? What's the update? I can't log into it. I forgot the password.
This is the state of this fantasy team. It's like I forgot the password. I forgot to set my team.
I don't know when playoffs are.
Nah, no idea what's going on.
So we lost again, 3-6, because I didn't do anything either.
That makes me happy.
Yeah, I only just remembered about it as well. I think I did make one trade last week when Joel said he couldn't log in. Apart from that, we're still coming third by quite a lot.
Huge.
So we're still pretty high up, and we have been shit house for a few weeks now.
Right.
So maybe you might do something this week. Probably won't. And we'll probably make the finals, and Keyzie will love it.
I just can't believe we give so much airtime to this ridiculous fantasy team you guys are rocking.
I need to get back into it, because if I lose in the semis this week, I'm going to be all down, balls to the wall, winning this comp for us.
The ACC one. We have to reset the password first.
We'll probably have to. We'll sort that out probably off there. But hey, let's move on to alley-oops.
It's the big alley. Ooh, it's not the one, It's not the one.
I'm not sure if you have audio for this one, Adam, but I think it was probably the biggest alley-oops of the week for me. Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving, 2 star-studded players who just know how to score points, know how to finish games, and they couldn't do it. They were trying to work together, and they couldn't do it. Yesterday, I think they were playing against the Timberwolves, and it was 124-121. They were both like marching up the court, kind of could have taken the shots, but they both passed it. Kyrie ended up turning the ball over. Did any of you guys see this one?
No.
It's so hard to watch every regular season game, right? And I hate Kyrie. So I don't hate him. I love watching him, but I just think he's a dick. So
Ben Boyce likes him, though.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of him and a lot of his beliefs. But I don't watch games unless players I love are in there. And then so that's mostly Clippers for me. So I watch a lot of the Clippers games. I watch LeBron every now and then. But that just right there is probably a sign of Luka, who's been just shouldering the load ever since he walked into that franchise. All of a sudden, he's got Kyrie with him, whereas Kyrie's like, nah, bro, this is your deal. You know what I mean? It's probably just a bit of iffy, like, oh, who wants to hit the winning shot? Oh, we both won't. Oh, okay, that's cool.
They're going to have to sort it out if they're going to live up to my prediction of them winning the West Conference this year as well. So with 30 games left, hopefully it happens. Probably won't.
I reckon it will, bro.
Yeah. Especially now that KD. When does KD debut for the Suns as well? Has it happened?
All-Star break?
Yeah, I'd say after All-Star break.
Yes.
Yeah, so we're about to have a like this today and then tomorrow and maybe the day after, and then that's it for about 6 days.
Yeah.
And then he should be back after that.
That's going to be very exciting. Another thing in Alley-Oops this week, Drake's message to LeBron.
LeBron, what a legendary night in NBA history. You're breaking the all-time scoring record. And to honor that, I had to come back to the place that it all started, Akron, Ohio. Every journey has its beginning. And tonight, I lied to you. I'm actually still at the club.
Is that Drake? I think that was Drake in a strip club, or was it a club in Miami messaging LeBron in a video message congratulating him?
Yeah, it's kind of like a green screen, and then it falls away, and it's super awkward, and there's just girls behind him. And but hey, Drake being Drake, yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
I personally reckon the whole of LeBron's celebration. I'm a big LeBron fan as well. He's my favorite player. But I reckon the whole fiasco, the 20-minute celebration during the game, that was a bit of an alley-oops in itself. I'm still standing by that one.
No, that's fine. If you want to die on that hill, Joel, that's all good. I mean, you break the all-time scoring record. Chris, who knows everything about basketball in the world, he says it's not going to be beaten. I mean, that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, it is. But like I said earlier, like just let out the 10 seconds first.
Yeah, I agree.
Obviously have the huge celebration because it's a huge moment.
Yeah.
But.
And then also don't lose to OKC. God, that really soured the whole thing for me.
And all of LeBron's milestone games, I saw the stat somewhere. This is probably one for the stat bunker, but I saw this stat that apparently every single time he's brought up a milestone, like playoff point, highest scoring points, this one recently, catching up to MJ, etc., whatever they are, they've lost in every single game. So, it's a
shift in his mindset.
No, it is. It's the 10,000, 20,000. It's every big milestone like that, plus these massive games. He has lost every single one.
The way LeBron plays is he can score at will, but he also gets his teammates involved. They're running the offense through him and stuff. All of a sudden, he has to hit 38 points. The entire way you think about the game changes, so I can see why that happens. Yeah, and there actually was a really cool part in that whole presentation that I did see as well. At the very end of it, it was Shaq interviewing Kareem, and they had like one of the most heartfelt moments I've ever seen. It was because apparently back in the day, I'm sure you probably know about this, Chris. You do
just
know
want to preface this by saying I don't know everything.
But so apparently that Kareem and Shaq used to have like a weird beef back in the day, and Shaq used to think that Kareem hated him, and I think it was only a few years ago that they sort of resolved this after Shaq's playing career, and then at the end of it, Kareem is 75 years old now, he looks quite old, and he was sort of like, Shaq, I just want to say I love you, like I never had anything against you, I just wanted you to be the best in the world, like it was so amazing seeing you tear these guys up every year. And it was just a very heartfelt, sentimental moment in the proceedings.
Well, maybe one day, Joel, I'll say that to you. You know, like
probably not.
You know, I've been in the industry about 10 or so years now, and you're just coming along, a young whippersnapper. And one day I'll be like, look, Joel, we never had any beef, man. I just want you to be the best in the world.
Well, we can share that heartfelt moment maybe one day.
Yeah, maybe one day.
75-year-old Keyzie.
Still in the industry. Still bloody paneling the drive show on Hodaki, still doing ACC potties.
Still got the mustache.
Still got the mustache.
And I'm actually not sure what this last one is. Ben Boyce put it in there, but it says Showtime spelt wrong. Adam, do you know this one?
Yeah, so basically, I think it's like a halftime show. They are lining up all the letters, and this poor little kid has put the W before the O. And here's the audio for it. And just imagine it's all going well. The guy's not turning around behind him. And this poor little kid's just jumped, he's jumped the gun here, essentially. Here we go.
All right, Heat Nation, it's time to shine bright. Cell phones out, flashes on, because it's showtime.
And the worst part is he couldn't put more of a highlight on what was about to happen. Phones out and everything, and it just turned to absolute shit, hey?
That's so funny. I wish the kid was holding it upside down or something, so it was like Shom time or something. That would have been funny as well. By the way, huge shout out to Ben Boyce, not even here, stuck in Palmy North or whatever. Putting prep in the dock.
He pretty much prepped the whole shit. He's
he's the man.
He's a legend. Oh, well, anyway, thank you so much for listening to the Benchwarmers this week. Do you guys have anything else to add before we depart ways?
Just like to say, thanks for listening. Like, subscribe, leave a comment. Thanks, Export, Beer Garden Studio, all that sort of stuff, really.
Yeah, well, he said.
Yeah.
Let us know. Let us know what you like about it. Let us know what you hate about it. Leave a review. Tell us what you want to do. Tell us if you want to get rid of someone. You want to get rid of me, let me know, and I'll leave. But hey, thanks for listening.
How do I do that? Through a review? Okay, sweet.
See you next time to wrap up all the All-Star Weekend coverage.